So, the topic of the day is spiritual alignment. What is it? What does it mean to be aligned in general? What about spiritually aligned? And I thought of no better person to ask these questions to than to Neeraj over here because he reminds me of one of those guys who's very tapped in a lot of ways spiritually, and he talks a lot about these topics of just being in alignment with yourself and the universe or whatever these kind of ideas mean. And so I guess the first question for you, Neeraj, is what is alignment in general? What does it mean for someone to be aligned on their purpose, or like what does it have to do with purpose? I guess that's my initial question. And we can use the definition Google. I'll have it open on my end so that you can, I can add that to you. But yeah, what are your thoughts so far?
What is alignment? What is spiritual alignment? What are these things? What does that have to do with purpose? Well, in my opinion, alignment just means that there's at least two or more things that are in align with each other. That's what alignment means in general. That there's an order or structure to things, and they're in the same pathway, the same direction. They're not out of order. So if you go in that direction, you'll just end up hitting one, two, three, four in a row. That's alignment in general. Spiritual alignment has to do with how in line or how uniform are you with the direction that you're going, and how does that correspond with universal law or spiritual truth, which just means the objective truth. That's all. It's just fancy words for, are you living by the truth? The truth of the universe objectively, or the truth of yourself? That's what alignment means. Are you in line with that? Because when you're living in alignment, you feel actually good. You feel positive emotions. You feel hopeful. You feel alert. You feel aware, present. And good things tend to happen. Now, when you're not living in alignment, you tend to feel pretty negative because you can tell in your soul, in your core, or even just in your mind, you can feel that something's off. You're not living the way that you're supposed to be living. You're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. And that over time will lead to a lot of suffering. I don't think anybody is aligned 100% of the time, all the time, forever. Just like nobody's on their purpose 100% of the time, forever. But then again, things get really dicey when you start to evaluate things like that. So I would just say alignment just means that you're on your path, living your purpose, doing what you're supposed to be doing. And that doesn't just mean you're doing the job you're supposed to be doing. That means you're living the life that you're supposed to be living in terms of your actions and your outlook, your thoughts, your decisions, your awareness. These are all the things that you are considering, and you're putting them in alignment, and you're making them uniform with your higher purpose or your higher intelligence. And because that's accurate, it also is accurate with the entire universe. Like, what is the larger objective whole? And where do you find your place in it? I think that's what alignment really is in layman's terms. It's just like, what are you doing? Where are you? Who are you? And what's your role in this whole thing? And you figure that out, you'll probably feel good about yourself because that's what everybody's trying to do. It's find your purpose and be in alignment. And when you're not there, you feel pretty bad. You feel lost. Does that make sense?
Yeah, somewhat. Yeah, that's interesting. And I'm curious, like, what about us humans? What gave us the ability to determine whether we were aligned or not? Like, what do you think that is? Is that our heart? Is that our soul? Is that our brain? Is it a combination? Is it our gut? Why in the world do us humans have this weird ability to, like, see with a different eye and tell if we're on that path or not?
I think the only reason that humans are elevated above the rest of the animal kingdom, because at the end of the day, we are vertebrae, we're animals with spines, we're mammals, you know, what I'm saying? Like, but you see, like in the Bible, for example, it says
Mm.
we are made in the image of God, the Creator. Like we're made in the image of our Father. So other animals, they function purely on instinct. It's not like they're not intelligent. It's not like they don't have any merits or any cool stuff about them. I'm not lowering them, but they function mainly on instinct. So if you go to like, even I have two cats, If I go to my cat and I slap him in the face, like,
I thought you were gonna say slap him in the butt. I was like, ah, there we go.
he's gonna try to bite me. And the thing is, like, before he even sees my hand coming, he'll feel it. His hand will try to go up and swat my hand away.
Hmm.
Now, of course, I have more power, so I'm like, "Ew." Don't beat the pussy, folks. But
Hmm.
anyways, when if I try to like hit my cat, or even if I like tickle his face, and then I'm like take my hand in and out, in and out, in and out, like he's gonna end up being agitated and seeing like a moving object. He's gonna try to swat at it. It's just his instinct. If you put a bunch of food in front of my cat, if he's hungry, he's gonna eat it. You know, if he has to go to the bathroom, he's gonna go to the bathroom. He doesn't prescribe to anything else except for his instincts. We're basically just his momentary needs biologically and what he was bred to do genetically. It's what he's meant to do. So, if that's the case, that's what instinct is. Humans have that too. Like when you gotta go to the bathroom, you gotta go to the bathroom. When you want to eat, you want to eat. Now, the thing is, for humans, we have this thing called a prefrontal cortex. Other animals have it too, but we have a quite a developed prefrontal cortex. It's a part of our brain that's the frontal lobe that actually makes cognitive decisions. That's what actually says, maybe I should do this, maybe I shouldn't. It starts to evaluate things. So that's the biggest thing biologically, but I think that prefrontal cortex is a manifestation of a higher intelligence within a more spiritual aspect, which just means we also have more weight to our mind and to our soul. We have more development. We have instinct, yes. You know, when I think of humans, I think we have the body, the physical flesh, the body of an animal, but we have a certain divine given intelligence. So you have this vessel, this body that is controlled by your emotions and your instincts, and your desires and your needs, your carnal mind, so to speak. And then you have your mind, which can be either supportive of that carnal function or it can raise above it. And you can decide to say, no, I know I'm feeling this. I know I want this. This is my instinct. I'm going to choose to see that and go in a separate direction. So I think that's what makes humans different. What we can do separates us from the animals. Just because we have the ability to think, are we going to do this or not? You know, other animals think and they make decisions, but I think humans have a very complex form of decision making and a very complex form of inhabiting this life that we live. And to a maximum amount, we can use that and it's a trainable function. We have the ability to tell, like, hey, I'm here and I want to be there. I'm at this level and I want to be at that level. That's just how function works for humans. Now, you can either foster that or not. That's the thing. You could be a human animal or you could be a human being. You know what I'm saying? So you do whatever you want, but
Dang,
that's up to you.
man, that's interesting because you mentioned something about the prefrontal cortex, and it's kind of funny to tie in. Like, I just, 20 minutes before this episode, I made a post on my Road Away from Porn, and it talks about how, moments before you're wanting to watch porn, the prefrontal cortex shuts off. You're not thinking of the future, you're only thinking of this current moment. Ooh, the ape brain turns on, the human being brain is off, and you're like, dang, I don't care about the consequences, and all I care about is right now in this current moment. And that's kind of interesting that there's certain things in life that like bring us down a level almost of like thinking instead of thinking like kind of just as a human and seeing, almost as if like you said in the image of God being able to extrapolate and reflect that gets removed during some parts of life, which can be a good thing maybe at times, but also can be a bad thing at times. That's very interesting that, yeah, that you mentioned that.
Yeah, bro, it's so crazy because think about like for the road away from porn, it's like we're tapping into our carnal desires whenever we're like picking up our phone, opening the internet, and then doing the thing. Like we are where we're tapping into that part of ourselves that's not so cognitively functional, and it's
Mm,
more just like instinct, desire, and habit. It's completely animalistic because, like, nobody's gonna go out of their way and be like, let me go dissect. Let me go dissect this video I'm about to watch.
yeah.
Let me go dissect what I'm about to go do right now. And if you do, it's like the more you try to analyze and dissect something mentally, you lose your physical desire for it. Believe it or not. So like there is a role for turning off the prefrontal cortex and just being in the moment and just rolling with it, just kind of like disappearing into the moment, into the now. There is a role for that. But if it's not stewarded properly, you'll end up going places and doing things that you don't want to do and that you
Mm.
shouldn't do. And it's just part of the game. So I understand. But yeah, definitely. It's the same exact thing, bro. When you turn off your human part and you just go animal mode. But you have human technology in animal mode. You have a cell phone
That is
in animal
crazy.
mode.
That is
That's what's crazy.
crazy.
It's like an
Oh,
infinite loop. And
man.
it's crazy.
It is. Because it's like, because like this tool could be, you could pull up the Bible app on this boy, or you could pull up Pornhub.com on this boy. It's crazy the amount of different, things you can do. Like, you could stay aligned through technology and go down a good path, or you can use it for, non-alignment, just like with pretty much anything. But it seems like this technology we have is like hyper amplified it instead of just like in the past, it's like, oh, maybe I'll go to this place and that place is not the greatest, or maybe I'll hang out with these people. But now it's like every single place you go, you have the choice. Oh, in my pocket. What am I going to look at? What am I going to listen to? What am I going to do? Who am I going to watch? What am I going to intake? And it's always just, it's like we're taking in so much info. And it's like, what kind of info are you wanting to say no to? What kind of info is not worth accepting it into your life? What's going to make you just fall off that path of like pushing forward on this alignment? So yeah, that is very interesting.
I just thought about something right now. Think about it, man. It's like we're the only species on Earth that has so much information to sift through on a moment to moment basis. And we have like an infinite portal in our hands all the time. You can you can believe it anywhere.
Yeah.
It's like it's honestly it's crazy when you think about it. It's like I can do anything on my phone. It can lead to any result I want. It's like I can go change the world right now and go impact somebody's life, be there for my family that's across the world, or I can go give somebody a coaching call or a text message that would completely change their entire life.
Hmm.
Or, I could fucking I don't know, like you can go like call an airstrike somewhere, I guess.
Uh-huh.
Or you can go watch porn, or you can go like order DoorDash, all sorts of things. So it's like this phone is funny. This phone is it's coincidentally the kind of the same thing about it is a device that can put you anywhere that you want to be, just like the human mind can. The human mind and the imagination and what we use our mind for can put us anywhere at all that we can be. That anywhere that is imaginable, you can go there. However, it's how you use it. That's the thing. It's like how you use this infinite tool. And in a lot of ways, your phone is like your mind. It has storage, it has RAM, it has a certain amount of storage. Then you could download iCloud if you want. You could have even more storage, and that's not something that's on your phone itself. It's something you have access to in the cloud,
Hmm.
and then you can go communicate with other people. You can send messages, you can receive messages, you can watch different types of media. It's really, really crazy. And you have different applications that have different functions. And you have software updates. Believe it or not, people, your brain has software updates.
Yes.
So,
This conversation might be one of them.
yeah, exactly, exactly, right? And like when you plug into the right environment or you
Mm,
plug into the right server or the right conversation, it's all synonymous for the same thing. You will have an update for your faculties or for your brain function, just like your phone has an update every single time that there is a new version available.
mm.
Except the phone is, of course, it's controlled by the company that makes it. So if iOS or iPhone doesn't make a new update, there's no new update. Then again, you could just like hack your software and you could just download any update that you want. You could install any update you want. At the end of the day, it's a computer. So I think your mind is the same way. Like you can put whatever you want in this thing if you know how to do it and even know the rules that it works by. So going back to this whole alignment thing, I think alignment just means that you're playing by the rules that are governing this life, this mind, this vessel, this heart, soul as a person. And then that also because you are a function of the universe, you are a part of life. You don't have a life, you are life itself. You are life happening. It's not like there is me and I have a life. Like, no, there is no distinguishment. Like, you and life are the same thing. And because of that, because you're a part of it, you have to follow the rules of it. Therefore, that's a part of you and that is you. So when you're in alignment, you're also in alignment with the larger whole. You're in alignment with the entirety of creation. And therefore, I'm pretty sure you feel a lot of positive emotions. I think your emotions are guidelines for where you are right now. And people who have been in alignment, people who maybe don't know what that means, it's really just like, are you in the flow state? Are you feeling compelled to do something? Do you feel like you're a part of something larger? Can you tell that what you're doing is bigger than what you're just doing in this moment? Yeah, we're on this phone call, but can you tell the implications of who it's impacting? Are you being honest? Are you doing your best? Are you really being there? Are you fully activated? These kind of questions can help you ascertain, are you living in alignment or not? And if you can sustain that, and if you can really evaluate, this is where I am, and this is what I'm doing, and this is the quality of my life, then you can determine your life to go anywhere you really want to. And believe it or not, if you really are in alignment, maybe you'll figure out that you've always been called and pulled by something bigger than you the whole time. Maybe being in alignment with life means that you jump in the river, it's already flowing in a particular direction, and that river is life, and that life's current is the divine orchestration. That's God happening. That's something that is bigger than all of us. But I'm sure you're in it, and you could either swim with the river or you could try to swim upstream and just hurt yourself. You're never going to win. So when you massively suffer and you're feeling pain and you're not feeling like you're getting anywhere, you're not getting your answers, you're probably out of alignment. You're probably out of alignment with what you are and what you're supposed to be doing. Otherwise, life is, I'm pretty sure life is benevolent. Life is cool. Life is nice. God is nice. If you follow the rules and you do what you're supposed to be doing, you're happy and good things happen to you. Not all the time. Sometimes bad shit happens to people that are on alignment for a purpose, though. So for a purpose. But if you're just
Dang,
if
that's
you're
crazy interesting.
if you're just getting fucked all the time and you have no idea what you're doing and you don't feel like you're in control, definitely you're out of alignment. If things are getting progressively worse and the things you're doing are making it progressively worse, you're definitely out of alignment. Like check your trajectory. Like check where you're acting. That's all.
Yeah. And I think it really has to do with like you said, the people that you're surrounded by, the inputs you're intaking. Like so many people I see, like, and then I see their friend group, and I'm like, oh, now this is why they're just doing so horribly. Like they aren't that horrible of a person necessarily, but they're just surrounded by these horrible influenced people that are just like, not focused on improvement whatsoever. They bring you down, and it's just like, oh, that's so painful to see because it's like our brain is so sponge like, you hear one thing and it's like, oh dang, man, I maybe I should do that. And like, but if you hear, you know, if you're in this bubble of people that are saying this one kind of mindset of complain slash stagnancy, like you're just gonna follow the crowd. And it's just that's why I think it's so true. Like you need to get around people that can give you such amazing downloads. It sounds like a weird way to put it, but like, I have a good friend group of people from high school where it's like, man, when I hang out, like this is gonna be a good session of convos. It's not just we're not just messing around and wasting time and just it's just like, well, this is gonna be a good situation of
Of course.
I'm gonna get some like lessons here. I'm gonna be able to, you know, grow from this. And like I feel like a lot of people just don't have that, and that's exactly kind of why this whole community thing I think we're starting and building is like kind of that larger purpose of like giving people a community of people that are like focused on improvement, focused on inspiring and motivating each other. And I think that's really powerful. And I think it, you know, I think there's ways you can upgrade your software, but there's also other ways you can upgrade your hardware as well, which is just like through consistent like, exercise and the foods you eat and like it's just this classic phrase of like garbage in, garbage out. Like if you're going to intake garbage software updates and garbage hardware adjustments, like you're just going to feel like trash and it's just going to lead you to worse and worse and worse situations. And I bet one day you're going to like get smacked and you're going to be like, dang, man, I've been going down this path and it's not right. Like there's something in the back of your mind that's been trying to tell you for a while, like, hey man, turn around. And sometimes it's too late for some people, like, and that's why, like, I think that this kind of conversation of like not being in alignment is so important because I just see so many people just living a life where their boss dictates what they do, you know, they don't have really any say on whether, oh, they didn't mean to buy that thing on TikTok Shop. It just showed up. Oh, that fast food store. Oh, it was calling to me. And like soon enough, they live their whole day. And it's like, I didn't even make a single decision for myself, it felt like. And none of the decisions benefited me. And man, it's just sad to see. So yeah, I think that this is a very important conversation.
Definitely. I like how you said there was hardware and software and garbage in, garbage out. I mean, you're right, man. You can
Uh-huh.
have software updates if you want, but if you keep chucking your phone against the wall, eventually it's gonna stop
Yeah.
working. So on that same note, you gotta take care of the particulars and like the what's the word here? The obvious things. You gotta take care of the obvious things. Like, eat well, exercise well, feed your body good things, consume good things, mentally and physically. And you're right. I really like that about the community that we have here because it's it's like every time you come back here, you're reminded of the mission you're on. Yeah,
Mm.
there's like a collective consciousness amongst all the people in here. It's like when you join the community and then you're in it, and every time you come back to it for either the modules, the lessons, or just the talk, you're here with that same purpose, surrounded by other people who understand or on that same wavelength. It'll pull you back. It'll pull you back to this. If you're ever feeling distracted and you come back here, just being in this energy of this group, number one, will pull you back. But number two, it'll just be right in front of your face. It's like, well, that's all we talk about. Talk about improvement of self.
Uh-huh.
Talk about making it out. What are you gonna do? You try coming here talking about like fucking. You come here talking about some stupid stuff or some
The
destructive
gym
things.
model.
Yeah, whatever. We're all just like, what's wrong with you? Like,
Hmm.
we will out you.
Yeah. What's hurting you, my friend?
Yeah,
Something in your
yeah,
heart is hurting. What is
yeah.
it?
So on that note, it's like a firewall. It's a safe mechanism. So this community is really good for keeping yourself in check, especially on your way to being aligned and on your way to being independent and on the path. You need help.
Yeah.
Everybody does. Like, how do you download a new software update that you don't know what the update is? You just
Hmm.
know that it's better than this one, but you don't really know. You see other people walking around with the newest update, and you're like, "Oh, I want that. I should go ask them how they got that." So yeah, like yeah, if you want to improve yourself, you could surround yourself with people that are improving themselves and that have done something, and just by being around them, their software will rub onto your software, and then
For
you will be
sure.
in that place too. That's just it. It's just a matter of being in connection with these people, and that's part of alignment too. That's part of alignment too. Is who are you being around? Because people, like they say, birds of a feather flock together. It's
Mm.
true. Like if you are in a certain way, you will attract people who are also in that certain way. Whatever your dominant energy or your dominant trait is, you'll attract people that are of that dominant trait. That's how we found each other. That's how other people like us found each other. We're just operating on a somewhat similar wavelength. We have the same values. We care about the same things. Therefore, we just kind of like, oh, we hang around the same places.
Yeah.
We have similar kinds of social medias. We talk in a similar kind of way. We talk about similar kind of things. That's it. Like, we just attracted each other. And then we attracted more people like that. And you can systemize it and build things that have predictable inputs like this
Mm.
community. So honestly, it's very good here to be a part of something like this that'll be able to transform you and deliver you when you're feeling like you don't have what it takes. So definitely, if anybody's listening right now and you don't know where to start, start by hanging around people who you know are like the people that you want to be, how you want to be in the future. And just be around. You ain't got to figure anything out. You don't have to do anything. Just
No,
be
just
around.
listen, be a
Just
sponge,
listen
be a
and be
fly on
around.
the wall.
You will figure some stuff out, and that'll lead you to your next step.
Yeah.
So alignment is a moment to moment thing. It's not like I'm in alignment now.
Check.
Check. It's not like that because you could fall out of alignment just as fast as you could go into it. It's a process. It is a a lens. It's like an adjective. You know, like nouns are things, verbs are actions, and adjectives are descriptors. So alignment is an adjective and a verb. It's not a noun. It's not a thing. It's not like I am aligned. You're like, I am aligned by doing this. That's the verb. And then doing it in this fashion, with this energy, with this attitude. That's an adjective. It's a quality. So alignment is a constant thing. And you kind of got to keep yourself monitored to do it all the time. And everybody falls short. Everybody falls short for something or another. And that's the process of life. We're growing. So if you feel like you're doing something wrong, you probably are, but it's okay because you can recover from that just as easy as you got from that.
For sure. No, it's true. Like one example that I can think of that's pretty interesting is one of the guys named Chaz who's in this group. You've met him before,
I met
and
Chaz. Yeah.
he was like he was saying like before he joined this whole brotherhood, he was attracting the wrong type of women. He was around these women that were low maturity, not that future thinking, no real kind of religious values. He's a Catholic, and so he values that. But the way he was living, the inputs he was taking in, the people he was hanging around, the mindset that he had, that was drawing him to these kinds of shallower women, women that he couldn't see a future with, women that were just not worth it for him to really be around. And he was like, as soon as he joined this group, kind of got rid of a bad habit or two, started connecting himself with people that were always improving each week. He saw this, he met a woman with similar values, and his life started to look up, and he created a new friend circle, and things started to really just change. And it's just like, it's crazy. That's a really interesting example for me to just see, like, man, for the people that are single out there, it's like, bro, you know, make sure that you're taking in the right inputs and you're hanging around with the right kind of people so that you can increase the probability of finding someone that, aligns with you. Because, if you're going down the wrong path, if you're taking in the wrong inputs, you're definitely probably not even going to attract the right woman that you want. You might have this view of, oh, I want this woman, and it's in your head, oh, this awesome style of a woman. And then it's like, but if you're taking in all these trash inputs and you're living the wrong life, the life you shouldn't be living, good luck ever finding a quality woman or a quality partner, because it's just like they're not going to want you. And so it's like you have to really start to upgrade that software in there, because that's the only way you're going to be able to attract said quality, amazing woman that you have in your mind. It's like not possible unless you do that self work first.
Right. Right. Think about it, like, if let's make it really simple. If you are, if you're or let's say if you, super super simple. Like if you're a fighter, like you're a boxer, right? And if you're a boxer and you want to have somebody to be your sparring mate, somebody that you can test yourself with and train with, you're gonna want someone that's like equal caliber as you or a little bit higher. That's how you get better. That's how you feel engaged. Just like, if you have a friend and your friend is significantly dumber than you, they're not going to be your friend for that long because because they can't hold conversations. Like the things that they care about, the way they operate is not enough to keep you activated. It's not enough to keep you engaged. You feel like you're not living engaged. You're not living like in a full way. You're kind of pretending. So going back to like Chaz and like Chaz and like his girl, once you start moving different, you start attracting different things. He
Hmm.
changed his alignment. What was he aligned to? He was aligned to maybe some bad habits, to a different mindset. He was aligned to a different type of quality of life, which probably led him to different physical places and locations.
Hmm.
And those physical places and locations had certain people there,
Yeah.
and then you change who you're around and who you're surrounded by, and then that makes all the difference. Then you just switch your alignment. So we talked a lot about inputs, right?
Hmm.
I think there's three main kinds of inputs.
Mm.
There's there's physical inputs, there's mental inputs, and then there's spiritual inputs.
Mm.
And these correspond with like the three different levels of life. There's three main levels of life. It's physical, mental, and spiritual. They're like three main spheres, basically. Your physical is like the stuff you do, the physical people you hang around with. Exactly. Exactly. How are you flexing? Roar. It's the things you do, the people you hang around with, and the places you go, and the stuff you consume. Right? I think that's what covers it. It's like the things you do, the people you hang around with, the places you go, and then the things you consume. Those are your physical inputs. That's what determines what happens in your physical, right? And physical, mental, and spiritual, they all affect each other. So if you make a change in one, then they affect all of them. In fact, on my Zoom whiteboard, I have a on my Zoom. I don't know if I can pull that up, but on my Zoom whiteboard,
Yeah.
I have a
Potentially do
pretty
it.
cool there. Okay, let me check it out. Nice.
Yeah, it looks like you might have to share your screen. Oh, sweet. There we go. Good. All right.
Okay. Well, this is obviously not all right. Guess you can't do that. I don't know what happened to my Zoom whiteboard.
Huh.
That's not good. All right. Well, we're gonna drop this,
Hmm. Oh well.
unfortunately. Yeah. So essentially, there's like imagine like a circle, and then there's a circle within that circle, and then there's a circle within that circle. So there's three layers of circles. So it's three concentric circles that are all enveloping each other.
Hmm.
That's kind of how I see life. Is that there's three spheres or three levels to this. At the innermost circle, that is your physical inputs, your physical self. And then the next circle outside of that is your mental circle. And then that's your mind state, thoughts you think, the way that you perceive your life. It's perception and mindset. So that'd be like a mental input. It's what
About
is
like
your
listening
mindset?
to people. Does listening to like audio, is that a mental or a physical? Maybe a little bit of both. I'm just,
Probably both, right?
yeah.
But what I meant was there actions you can take. That is physical. Then there's the thoughts you think and the outlook you have, your attitude.
Mm.
Your attitude is a mental action. Like what is your attitude on life? What is your outlook on this situation? The thoughts you think as a result of that attitude, right? Your perception basically. So I'll be like your mental side. And then on the biggest circle, the circle that surrounds everything, that's when we get like the spiritual or the energetic. It's kind of like the thing that supersedes all. It's the precursor. It's so yes, this is how you physically act, this is how you think, but what are you? Like what
Why are
actually
you?
aha. Yes. Yes. So maybe the physical is like what are you? The mental is like how are you? And
Oh,
then
dang.
yeah, and then the spiritual is why are
Dang,
you?
that's interesting.
I like that. Put this up with that. So
Yeah,
yeah,
do
why
it.
are you? Why are you? So it's like that's like the direction you're headed. Like what is your life all about? What is your where is your trajectory? Like what is your identity? What do you say that you are? Who do you say that I am? Who do you say that you are? That's like your spiritual self. So these are all inputs at these levels: physical, mental, and spiritual. And all three of these, they correspond. So remember, they're three concentric circles. So all of them are enveloped, basically. The physical is enveloped by the mental and the spiritual, and then this mental is enveloped by the spiritual. So technically, everything is spiritual, but it has three different phases of iterations: spiritual, energetically, and then mentally, and then physically. So you could control your actions, which is like, what are you doing? Where are you going? Who are you hanging around with? What are you putting into yourself? And that will be a big driver. And a lot of people are working on the level of what are your physical actions? What are you actually doing? Then if you go above that, then it's like your mind. It's what are your intentions here? What is your mindset here? What are you trying to accomplish? What is your goal? You know, things like that. Like what is your outlook on this situation? And then your spiritual input is like, who am I going to be? Why am I here on this earth? What am I going to be dedicating myself to? It's spiritual because that's what you're feeding your life into. You and I can think thoughts. We can think any kind of thought we want. But if we don't have any spirit in it, then we're not going to be. We're, if we don't have any energy in it, any kind of drive or any kind of intrinsic motivation towards it, we're not going to actually go make it happen. It's not going to. It's going to be a thought. It's not going to become a physical full action. You know, it's not going to be a real thing. So if these inputs are under your control, which they generally are, generally, then you can control the actions and the outcome of your life. If you just control your physical, mental, and your spiritual inputs. And like Alex Hormozy always says, make the inputs the goal. Stop
Hmm.
trying to focus on the outputs. If you make the inputs the goal, you will continue making the outputs. If you make the output the
Yes.
goal, then you will always fall out. You know, it's like if
Yes.
you, so controlling the inputs matter. Going back to the whole community thing, like it makes it way easier to do the right inputs, and more importantly, don't do the wrong inputs if you're in the community that's like, hey, probably shouldn't do that.
Hmm.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't do that. Don't do that around here. You came here because we don't do that. We don't do it. So I think it's all
Exactly.
about controlling influence. What do you think about that whole thing?
It's pretty solid. Nice visual you drew for us with your words. And yeah. And yeah, like I think that's like a perfect time to kind of wrap it up. Like you have the choice today, people. What type of inputs are you going to do? Like who are you going to listen to? What kind of music are you going to listen to? What are you going to do after you get off this phone call? How are you going to spend your time on the internet? Like who are you going to hang out with after this? It's just like, you have the choice. And it's like, if you're wanting to connect with people that are of a higher frequency, start, search online for events that are interesting to you, or, ask to join our community. Have a conversation with one of us. We would love to see if there's any type of alignment that if you would fit, like not everyone would potentially fit in our circle of people just because, our circle has some standards, of course. But, you know, I guess my recommendation to all of you guys is look, where would you want to be a part of? Like, what type of group would it be? Reflect on that this week because who you surround yourself with is such a huge predictor of where you're going to be next year, next decade, etc. And so, I hope that all you guys are just motivated to improve your social circle, improve your inputs, because that will truly help with your path to alignment. And yeah, any final thoughts, Neeraj?
I think you said it, bro. I think you said it. Just focus on your inputs and what you can actually control, and that'll help you get into alignment. And what a lot of people don't think about is just the decision to get into alignment and just to be better and be more purposeful, be more on point. That in and of itself is being in alignment. Maybe you're not all the way there. Maybe you're really fucked up. Maybe you have a really bad habit. Maybe you have something that you really want to kick and shake and change. Just the thought and the decision and the first step you take towards that, that's you being in proper alignment. And the more you walk on that path, you're getting further and further and further on that path of alignment. And eventually it will come full circle. All you got to do is not quit. All you got to do is don't stop. Once you start, don't stop. That's the only thing you have to do because you will make it. you will make it.
Beautiful. I love it. All right, y'all. Have a great week. I'll see you guys next week.